Hello, everybody, and welcome to Aurorum Kingmaker Season 2, Session 2. Remember when I used to name sessions prior to the session going live? And it was so difficult. Because I'd be like, I named the session, I think most of the time I nailed it fine, like this thinking of the Witcher campaign, but it was so difficult because I'm like, if I name the session this, I really have to make sure things go that direction. Like, I really got to give a good nudge. And it worked out okay a lot of the time, but oh man, sometimes I was like, oh well, I named it that. Yep, that's where it is. Do you remember that, Neil?
No.
You don't remember calling out my typos every fourth or third session?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was probably a bit more frequently than
Like,
that.
Scott, do you think is that how they spell Slayer in America? Is that how Dragon Slayer is spelled in America?
Yeah, there may have been a little bit of that.
I'm,
May have
I'm
been a little bit. It's fine. Don't worry
pretty
about it.
pretty sure my D&D books are printed in American English, and I don't think I've ever seen it spelt that way. Oy. Anyways, sorry about going late. One of the reasons, one of the faults is mine, and it's because I didn't have any bananas. I just got peaches from the nearby farm, and I don't know.
And you
If,
can't really ram a whole peach up your bum, can you? Come on.
well, you can, but peaches are one of those things where when they're really ripe, and this is really ripe, that you can't like really eat that on stream. It's one of those like you have
Why
to.
not? We'd all love to see the juice dripping down
Oh
your
god,
beard as you like filthily eat this dripping fruit, and you're like, oh, it's so
it's
wet.
like. it's like sucking down crawfish on a raft by a bayou. You know what I mean? Like it's like really really gross.
I
Uh,
love that example. That was great.
It's gross. It's really gross. Anyways, and
what
then
are crawfish for you guys, by the way?
crawfish and shrimp are the same thing. They're like second. They're like cousins
Like
or like sisters.
they're like big ones, are they?
They can
Are
be.
they what we would call langoustines?
We have shrimp up north because they're imported to New
Yeah,
England.
which we call prawns.
Prawn. Oh, sorry. So no, never mind.
So
Crawfish are different.
shrimp,
So
shrimp are
shrimp and
tiny.
prawns. Shrimp and prawns are the same thing. My apologies. Crawfish are different. They're like the big ones. You are correct. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're like
I said the wrong word.
langoustines.
Yeah. Sorry. My apologies. Because prawns are most of the planet. Shrimp only come from like I think 3 parts of the planet or something like that, and then the rest of it's all prawns.
Shrimp are just tiny ones.
You've never seen jumbo shrimp, then have you? It's America.
Well,
We
yeah,
make
but
we make everything big.
yep, but they're not actually shrimp. They're prawns.
I don't know. That's a good question. I couldn't answer one way or the other without googling, and I'd rather play
I can
Pathfinder.
I can confidently say that that's how it is, because that's how we do things here in the Empire.
Who in chat would like to Google to prove Neil wrong? I'll award a whopping 50 daddies to the person that proves Neil wrong.
50 whole daddies.
That's right. 5-0. All right. So, anyways, let's
Can
go.
you remember where we are?
I can. Yeah. So last session.
Daddy's dice.
Oh, that's what we discussed beforehand. It was a conversation like a month ago. All right, so let's talk about what Neil's laughing about. As for the daddies that you can use to actually affect the stream, live on stream, is as everybody knows for a long time, Curse of Idir, trump cards, prayers, aids, so on and so forth. But there is a new option that was discussed beforehand called Daddy's Dice, and it is an option to give me a D4 to negatively impact the player's rolls versus the D4 you give them to positively impact their rolls. So, all right.
Don't put any in Daddy's dice sack.
Wow, Norga. Wow. Just saying. All right. So let's go. Last session ended with there being a call of the advisors. I think it was specifically Dwayne that had called the advisor saying, "Yo, I'm out in like a week, so deuces." But let's talk about a problem that my spies recently discovered. And there was like checks and whatnot involved. And based off of the check results, he gave you the information that he was able to procure at that time. One of the results was, so one of the big things that you discovered was the area known as Hod Gwen. So let's actually pull up the map if we can for you guys. Let's go and transition this right now, so you guys can see the map of Hod Gwen. So the map of Idir shows that Hod Gwen has been expanding considerably. So with that being said, they've certainly become a forefront of you guys' concerns. They're expanding at a rapid rate, and you're afraid that they're going to be coming in your direction and probably meeting with you on a field of battle, so on and so forth. I believe the reason for your assumption being that you had not so good dealings last time you were in Hodgwen. And so you're kind of are thinking, this could go very poorly for us. And the rumors that you had heard of the people that are currently ruling Hodgwen. Other than that, you didn't really learn a ton of information about that region from the spies. You yourselves had discovered that there is a small camp of goblins nearby, and that there is a cave with owl bears in it nearby. You had discovered that stuff on your own and expanding. You had chosen to approach these situations with, you were thinking about meeting, the best area for the field of combat would be right about here on the map, so I'm going to ping that twice, thinking that would be the best place to meet Hodgwen should things come to blows and on such terms. But you're also thinking that maybe it'd be a good idea to send people out by way of Varen, which is where you can get some really high quality steeds, in case you wanted to have any degree of mounted combat, was what I'm looking for, cavalry. And so I believe you were sending somebody over to Varen, though I don't recall if you had actually sent anybody or not that way yet. The last thing to discuss of what happened in that little room was that you had your unnamed gentleman. He was once old. He was almost like a ghostly figure, and he came in and he watched the conversation through in, I think, like 2 sentences, but for the most part kept to himself. Now, as we're bringing the meeting to a close, as a reminder, just remind me, guys, did you want to send anybody over to Varen immediately?
Yeah, I believe the plan was to send messengers to Reed, Loshev, Orvin, and Varen. Because we decided Harad and Ostrad would be too far-fledged, too far-flung, too close to Haldgwen's holdings to even bother with, whereas the others will have time to see Harad and Ostrad be eaten into what is Haldgwen, and be like, oh, actually, maybe we don't want that. Yeah, I believe.
Okay, so you wanted to send someone to Rid, and then you wanted to, what was the other one that you were saying?
Reed, Forven, Loshev, and then Varen for the horses.
Oh, that's right, because you wanted to send, not necessarily, did you want to actually send people there or notice to those other locations, to the other towns?
It would be best to send people if we can.
Sure.
If we can send an unnamed person, if that's possible.
You can actually send advisors too. That's literally what you have advisors for. So for an advisor to be considered active in the throne, they have to be at least there for, I think it's a third of the month. So they have to be in your main city where they can run things, or in a city that they can take care of business, depending on what their job is, for at least 10 days of the month. So if people are out taking care of other tasks, you know what I mean? That's why it is that you have the option of like rolling like with your events, like faith and loyalty.
In that case, Rayron can head out for one of them, because of his role within the kingdom allows him to travel away.
And who you're saying that was Elliot? My apologies.
No, I'm saying that was me.
Oh, you. Oh, my apologies. Sorry. Go ahead.
Scott's been struggling with names today.
Yeah, apparently.
We should tell everyone we came up with a name for the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have officially named it. Oh, how cute. All right, first of all, before you announce the official name, why don't we give a huge shout out and thank you to somebody who has given you a lot of aid in the naming of the kingdom and of the capital city so far. And so we want to send much love over to Unfunny One. Just kidding. It was Abusive Naga. No love to Unfunny One. And so...
no love.
It was Abusive Naga. He was going to give you the suggestion of Kurzfall for the main city. And for the kingdom, what are we naming it again?
We went with Valorin.
Valorin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bam. It's officially on the Kingdom Tracker sheet. It's official. Woo! Awesome. All right. Now let's continue. So you want to go and handle the conversations. That's perfectly fine. You're welcome to do so. But again, you literally have advisors to have them go handle that stuff for you so you guys can handle other stuff together as a party. It's up to you.
Well, because of time and how time passes, I would suggest that the best thing to do would be if we send Elliot to Forven, one to Reed, and Rayrin to Loshev, we can cover all of them in person. Forven is the least likely to join, and also the individual who goes there will be at the highest risk due to the location being close to Hound Gwen. One already knows.
Oh, so you're sending Elliot to the most dangerous spot? Is that what you're saying?
He's the least right. So if you send one of the leaders of your country abroad, they're a much more valuable target than an advisor. Gotcha. So there's logic to sending someone who's less likely to be targeted there.
So Elliot was to Forven. Who is next?
One to Reed.
Gotcha.
If he's amenable, because he already knows some of the people there, and they're quite docile. So his method of teaching will work well. And Rayrin to Loshev, which should hopefully...
Who's going to the other one? The horse place?
Varen, I've not decided yet. Because it would need to be a lot longer travel time.
So looking at who's currently filling your different throne seats at the moment, you do have your treasurer Edric, you do have your warden Kithul, you do have your counselor Elliot, who you've already sent out. So that's pretty much it. You're kind of low on person count at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
There's no way we can send Edric. He just can't go.
I don't think he's really appropriate for this task.
No.
I think we might. I think we might have to wait.
Okay, we'll wait on it.
To send one of us or both of us to Varen. I mean, or I suppose we could send Valren, but that seems cruel. I would be most inclined to wait and send Elliot later on, because Elliot is a skilled linguist and therefore would perhaps have a better chance of getting us a fair deal with the horses.
Okay, so the plan is to then send Elliot after he's done with Forven, so long as he spends an appropriate amount of time in your kingdom for the month, so you don't take a penalty for him being absent. Completely understand. Awesome. So that takes care of more or less the adjourning of the meeting. This is the plan. We're going to go here, here, here. Obviously everybody lie low, etc., etc., etc. But more or less you're just kind of like mapping it out. And then let me just also throw up over here a bump, and this is not yet. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been marking the calendar. Sorry, not the calendar, the map, with who's going to be going to what location, and like a nice hot pink color. All right, cool. So you kind of like mark that one as not yet. Eventually, all of your different persons will adjourn and go to their own separate ways, kind of like what it is that they need to do. However, the gentleman that used to be the old, almost keeper of the curses, stays behind, as all of your advisors leave the room, and even Valren leaves the room as well. Understand that he has other things that he needs to take care of, perhaps going and prepping up details with Elliot for what should be said in Forven and whatnot.
He's like, oh, they've brought in a new wine that I must try. God damn it, Valren. He's already been corrupted.
I just say that he's spending a lot of time behind closed doors with Elliot. So you are left behind, just the two of you and the unnamed gentleman that was sitting off to the side and watching the conversation.
All right, conspiracy theory time. I wonder, does anyone have any ideas on who that guy is? Because, like, put on your tinfoil hats. Because what if it's Valorant, who had his appearance changed and sent into the past, and now he's talking to himself. And he's
so you're saying we're talking with Ghost Terminator Valorant?
Yeah. Could be a thing.
It could be a thing. I'm not against it. He seems a lot more forceful than Valorant. Like,
We've
you know,
had, like,
Baron's a bit of a little
5,000 years to harden up.
yeah to lose that bitch.
Yeah.
I suppose it's true.
Okay. Is that the end of the
Yeah.
conspiracy theory?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so tinfoil hat's back off, and
Are you angry that I worked it out?
no, you're fine. So the two
You're
of you,
fine. Next week, Jake's gone and one turns up dead.
so you guys are sitting in the room just with the two of you and him. He looks at you. Doesn't say anything yet.
Valorant, what are you doing?
Baron, bug it off. Oh, you calling him future Baron?
Yeah. One would just be like, Rayron, what am I doing in Reed again? I'd forgotten.
It would be useful if they joined with us in name, if not able to supply a couple of people as well. One, it protects our flank, and it also aids legitimacy to our claim that we are a nation within this wasteland, dead land, kingless land. You know what I mean. My point is that we're a far more legitimate nation should we either absorb or be allied with Loshiv, Forven, and Reed. Not to mention that if our attempted plan of where we might wish to fight comes to pass, having Forven and Reed protects our flanks more than we would have otherwise. What you're going to be asking is the difficult part, because there's no one person in charge. Persuade them to join the nation if possible. Persuade them to ally if not.
Okay. Will do.
Rain would look at the ghost.
He's not a ghost anymore.
He's a ghost. Scott. Once a ghost, always a ghost.
Wow. Remember that the first time your character gets resurrected.
I don't suppose you have any helpful magics for this situation?
I actually do have a little bit of helpful magics, but not specifically for what you're referring to. That kind of falls in the category of your hands. You were given the land, and it's your job to build upon it. But I am giving you this. And he does pull out of, kind of like as he stands up, he pulls out of his robes a small little ornate-looking chest. It's a very, very ornate-looking chest that he has. He says, I won't lie to you. The magics of this are still, let's say, in remission. They are not currently functioning, and they will be soon enough. But hold on to it. You'll know when it's functioning again, and you'll know when you'll be able to use it. And he hands to you again. It's a very small chest. It does actually open and close when you go to manipulate it, and it is absolutely beautiful. You know what I mean? It's very well carved. With the craftsmanship of what did it would have been, really, really fine, because just the little grooves and whatnot they have inside the wood, the quality of the metalwork and the gold filigree and whatnot that they put onto the chest to make it as beautiful as it is.
What does it do? Are you really going to leave me with the cryptic words of "I'll know when to use it"?
You'll be able to use it to open the chest when the magics are flowing through it. I'm just working out details.
The chest, sorry.
This is linked, the plan is forevermore to an ethereal chest. In short, to a chest that is elsewhere. And it can call that chest to you, even if only for short periods of time. You can use it for storage, but it'll, the magics are currently severed. As I'm finishing things up over there, I wanted to make sure you had it in your hands.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you needed to discuss? I have no problem eavesdropping. It's certainly more entertaining than the things I've been doing lately. Not
No.
very well. And he turns, and like as he turns and takes a step, turning away, it's like mid-turn stepping away. He fades from view as he's done many times beforehand.
Is it me, or has he become more of an asshole in his young old age?
He's about to say.
I love that. I love that Neil just assumes everybody's. The guy's like, "Hey, here you go. Here's a magic item. I just got to finish working out the details of this magic item, but here's like a really cool magic item for you. I hope everything works out for you guys. All right, anything entertaining? No, all right, bye." And you're like, "What a fucking
giving
asshole!
somebody
What an
no
asshole!"
ammo.
Huh?
That's like giving somebody a gun with no ammo and being like, you might find use for it at some point.
Oh, he explicitly said, "I'm working on."
no.
He explicitly said,
It's-
"I'm getting the ammo for you right now. I'll be back later." You know what I mean?
how-
But then he
this-
never comes back.
It's how this ghost boy conducted himself, not what he did. It doesn't be like, you got anything else to discuss? No, okay, bye. That's not how you act to a king. It's not what you do.
I think he gave you the crown.
You think
I mean, we did frame
different
that,
because he's
so.
think he's different because he's a ghost? No, not in our country. Everyone is equal. Everyone other than us.
Equal
We're higher
rights
than.
for ghosts.
I think he gave you the crown. I think he said, "Oh, hold on. I have this old thing lying around in my closet. You can have it." Oh, there's three of you? Hold on. Oh, look, here you go. One for each of you. Oh, look at that.
I like that. Wait. Little magic tree.
All right, so anyways. Now it's just down to you, Neil. Uh-oh, this kingdom's fucked. Oh, okay.
I'm the one true king.
All right, so anyways, now you guys...
Hey there, Jay. he came back quick. This is awkward.
So you guys can
Dying.
continue on. So as you guys are leaving this area, you're going to start going about the various tasks that you wanted to do. Do you want to jump into that more or less, have the night to rest, and in the morning hop on your appropriate steeds and go to the opposite directions to head to Loshev and Rid?
Yeah.
Who has the belt thing that makes you sound like somebody else?
I think it temporarily went to Jake or something. Sorry, Tesh. I keep doing that. Today I've called Tesh Jake 4 times now. I think it went to Tesh temporarily, but anybody can take it.
Yeah, like Jake's been
I would
sitting
like to
there.
borrow it, please.
My apologies.
Jake's been sitting there, and Scott's like, "Yeah, where's Jake? I guess Jake's not coming."
What a faggot.
I've got the Mummer's Wrath, which
Is that it, Scott?
which lets me throw my voice once a day and have a +5 bonus to bluff faking someone else's voice.
The words mummers, it sounded like you said plumbers.
I didn't.
Okay. So I don't know if that was meant to be a bad joke, because it was bad. Yep, so you can take that, Jake, and you can, I said that even offensively. You can say, Jake. Yeah, Jake's correct. You can take that, Jake, and you bring that with you to Rid when you go. So I guess we'll kind of just jump into you guys hopping onto your appropriate steeds and go in the opposite directions to the cities that you want to go to. As we were talking about beforehand, the campaign has changed multiple times in the sense of where it is that you are. Hold on one second. So of how big like each individual hex is. I went over that in many post-session things. So just a reminder, the quick reference. There we go. Each hex is now worth 12 instead of 16 miles. I readjusted everything so it appropriately fit that way. So because you are on a horse there, Jake, traveling over there, traveling across the hexes are, for you, that's going to be 4. I want to make sure I get this travel correct. Yeah, across plains. You go by 40 feet. So it's going to be 4, 8, and that's forest right there. 6. So you'd actually get there most of the way through day 2 of traveling, assuming you're not pushing yourself. You'd get to Rid most of the way through day 2 of traveling, and so you could actually have your RP there. So likely you'll be going first. Actually, probably a bit more than that. Actually, sorry, at the beginning of day 3. As for you, Neil, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd be like at the tail end of day 3, beginning of day 4 is when you'd be getting there. So as you're getting onto your appropriate horses and going literally opposite directions, do you bring anybody with you? You are the rulers of this small nation. Your kingdom's total populace is sitting around 1925 of all the lands that you have claimed. Specifically in Kurzfall, the population is about 1,400, which has grown considerably in the last 6 months since you started construction over here. Do you bring anybody with you as you head to both Rid and Leshev?
Is
Do
it
some
possible?
guards.
Yeah, is it possible to take some guards?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no reason not to.
No, I suppose each of us could go with 3 to 5 guards.
Okay. So the two of you
We
would
take
each...
a herald.
A what? A herald?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't. You know what I mean? You just say, "Hey, buddy, you're now the herald," and hand them a trumpet, and they go with it, right?
Then you take your banner as well.
Okay. Well, it's funny
You don't
enough,
have a banner.
you don't have a banner yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming we have a banner.
You guys have never designed one.
Need to design
You-
one first. I'll
you-
do
you
it.
just
I'll do
officially-
it in paint over
You
the
just
weekend.
officially named the kingdom, and it's actually literally you're going to be naming the kingdom as part of the as part of the edicts, as you're handing out decrees for next time we do a kingdom thing. So it'll actually be officially named at that point. So in game, it hasn't even been officially named yet. There's just been like a roundtable discussion. You've come to a conclusion, but that's okay. So you're going to bring with you a herald and 3 guards, or sorry, a herald and 4 guards traveling with you. So each of you have 5 persons coming with you on your travels. Now, are all of these people supposed to be on horseback, or are they walking by foot?
Do we have that many horses?
You do in the kingdom, but you're taxing your people and borrowing borrowing like going to the local farms where you need to appropriate or whatever these horses for matters of the kingdom. We'll return them shortly. That sort of a thing.
Then yes, we should ask the people to borrow the horses.
That's not a problem. You can actually do that by simply making a loyalty check. Loyalty check is going to be a 1d20 plus a loyalty modifier. We are in the tail end of the month of July, so your loyalty modifier is +6. So whoever wants to roll, it's 1d20 plus 6.
Who wants to roll it?
You can roll.
Okay. 1d20 plus 6, yeah.
Correct, sir. Ooh, absolutely. Okay.
They love me. It's all those boys who I said, no, you can worship who you want, just not this person.
Wow, that was absolutely. What's up, Aaron? How you doing? So, anyways, so you wow, that's beautiful. So when you go and you ask for the steeds, it's one of those things where they definitely deliver to you the steeds and say, use them for as long as you need. Of course, the safety and well-being of our new homeland is important, and so on and so forth, and somewhat prostrating themselves in front of you. But the most important thing is actually with a beautiful check like that, one of them even specifically says, you can take my prized horse, and please, chosen of the quill. Chosen of the quill, it would be an honor if you took the steed as your own and kept it moving forward.
Oh, thanks, Doug.
And so,
Top lad.
as he hands you the horse, as he hands it over to you, he actually kind of petting the mane and everything for it. He will tell you that its name. He says, "I've named her Green."
Well, that's a peculiar name, but sure.
He says,
He doesn't say that, obviously.
of course. And
You don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh, Jesus. Well, as you're looking the gift horse in the mouth, why don't you do me a favor and roll me a knowledge nature check?
I'll do that.
Of course you will, because I just told you to. You rolled very well again. Now, I know this is an untrained skill for you. You're going based off not raw intelligence, but that's fine. Looking at this horse and checking out, like I said, literally giving it an examination look over, you could tell that this horse is, no question, better than all of the other horses that you have of the party has owned prior, and that your people have allowed to lend to you for the interim. You know what I mean? So looking at this horse, you can clearly tell it's better than that. Do you inquire in this at all, or do you just kind of like you said, don't look a gift horse in the house and keep it?
So Rarian would understand that, one, you legitimately, you don't. This is a gift. He's given me an honor here. This is kind of him. So he would politely ask as to the horse's heritage, that sort of thing, because it comments on how it looks like it's a horse of some great pedigree. You know, it looks like this has been the result of many generations of husbandry.
He responds with a yes and no. My grandfather, moved to Harad from Varen. When he was in his youth, he brought with him his finest steeds at the time. Unfortunately, the stock has been bred down since then, but there's still a bit of that quality left in them.
So this is Varen stock. That's cool.
It's a boiled down Varen stock.
Yeah.
All right, and then you guys can hop on your horses and go the opposite directions. So you, of course, get the nicer horse, one, and then we're going to handle you first as you're riding off into Rid. Now you're going with you. You've got 4 guards with you. Do you care to describe what they look like at all? The kind of guards that you'd bring with you? No, standard guard, sword, shield, so on and so forth. Riding in, Harold has a trumpet.
It's probably 2 with the sword and shield, but there'd be 2 like crossbowmen probably.
Awesome, perfect, thank you. And then of course you have your herald with you. They don't actually wave a banner specifically to your nation because you guys haven't actually depicted one yet, which is not crazy. Your nation's less than a year old. It's literally 6 months old. So the idea of having a banner at this point is not. I mean, it's important for like a call to arms, but you haven't had to call to arms yet. So it hasn't been the most important thing yet. However, Jake, would you have any banner, like perhaps a banner of Roga, with you?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your bannerman would carry a banner of Vroga, which clearly you would have. You have a whole shrine specifically to Vroga and so on and so forth. And you guys go riding into Rid. Now, when you go riding into Rid, you've seen this town many, many, many times beforehand. You've had correspondence with this town. I think you've actually even popped in once or twice yourself. But for the most part, you've sent people here to like communicate with your messenger. I imagine.
Don't we own an inn here?
You never purchased it, no.
I thought we just took it from the guy.
No. So when you come here, do you immediately jump to the order of business of speaking to the people here, or do you want to go handle personal matters first?
I'll go to the inn.
Okay, so you go to the inn, and when you go to the inn, you actually do find your correspondent is literally sitting there and is reading a book. The person who was sent here ages ago is literally sitting there and reading a book. Coincidentally, the same exact seat you always found Elliot in, but very different posture and demeanor, very different book.
Just go walking over towards him. I assume he's noticed us come in, and just be like, "Any news?"
I'm unfortunately chosen. There is no news yet. I've not seen any messages come back in about what it is that you're looking for. I did, however, recently come across a rather surly, woman. She's claims to have been a blacksmith that was sent here by the you and the other chosen several months ago, and is upset that word has not been given back and forth since then. I was going to mention it of her. I was going to mention her in my next report to you in a few days' time, but since you're here.
She's here.
She's been here for some months, yes. I believe she was told to flee here from Hardgwen.
Yes, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, I don't believe. But I can take care of
that. She can often be found, over by the river. I mean, it's getting cold out, as you know, of course. Winter is very fast upon us. The first frost has already settled in, and the crops have pretty much all been harvested in the area. But she does still like to spend her time down by the riverside. She tinkers away at something down there, and does it in the warmth of the sun.
Okay, thanks. Has there been any troops or armed bands come through Reed since you've been here?
My apologies. Did you say troops, Chosen?
Yes.
Oh, well, there was. I don't want to say troops because perhaps that's the wrong description. But there were these three that had come through recently. They were armored, lighter armors like leathers and a little bit of chain to enhance it. It definitely had weapons of looked like the type that had seen combat, but I honestly took them for maybe an adventuring group or honestly maybe some bandits or the like. But there was no maybe troops. They could have been if there was no uniform.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take a walk down to the river and see if I can find this blacksmith, and I'll return.
Very well. I'll of course be here unless you need me to do anything. Do you need me to come with you?
Have you spoken to her at all?
Just
you have, haven't you?
Just in passing several times, and she knows where I come from, and she knows who rules it, and it was only recently that she griped to me, which is, like I said, why I would have put it in my next report.
Okay. So she knows about our lands.
Correct, but she's been. I honestly, I don't really have much more than what I've said.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Thank you for your report. Please just stay here.
Of course I will. And then he waits until after you leave the room before he keeps reading his book, out of respect. And I should
before. Sorry, keep going.
I was going to say, I should state that when you first walked in and he noticed you, he jumped up and did the appropriate, But my apologies. Go ahead, Jake.
Good. No, before I leave, I would just go to the innkeep, get around for me and the boys.
There you go. Do you leave the boys here to enjoy their rounds when you head to speak with her?
Nah, I'll take them with me.
Okay, sure. So you all enjoy rounds, maybe a solid 20-minute rest off of the dirty long road, and then you go to heading down by the riverbed to see if you can find her. And so going by the river, it's not like it takes a long time. You can, as you're in the area, you can hear the ting, 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 off in the distance until you get closer, and you can see she is down there, and she does have. I'm going to use the phrase anvil, but honestly, what it looks like is she's taking a large hunk of metal, and she's, kind of set it on top of a really large and very solid looking boulder that's kind of flattish up top. And she's made kind of a makeshift anvil, and she has near the bottom of again, we're going to use the word anvil, which is a large, flat, decent sized, hunk of metal. At the bottom of it, there's was a hole that had been crafted into it. That she has straps of leather coming around and tying itself around the rock. You know what I mean? You imagine this thing must weigh a solid, 30 plus pounds of let me convert that for you, 13 kilos, I think that is, that she must have to hoist down here and place atop this rock before strapping it together, along with all of her, crafting equipment. And she's sitting there, and she's literally hard working on a weapon, just tinging away at it. The thing is ugly as sin. You know what I mean? It has the slight formation, a very, very, very slight formation of what would be a short sword. It looks like, but she's just hammering away at it. Slowly honing it to the shape that she wants. My apologies. You will come approaching.
So I would just, approach slowly. Does she see us coming, keep working? Or?
She doesn't notice you at first. She's very much engrossed in what it is she's doing. But as you get really close, within say 40 feet or so, she would look off to the direction, see that you're there. She looks off, and it's one of those things where she finishes her swing that she was doing, looks off to the side, sees you. You can see there's a moment in her eyes as she contemplates just ignoring you, but then she sees a team of armed people behind, and so she places down her hammer and reaches down by the rock where she has a couple of other bits sitting inside of a small barrel she was to carry down, and she pulls out another sword, and she has it in what's clearly her dominant hand, but hanging limply by her side when she stands up to her full height and turns to regard the two of you. There's the six of you.
Yeah. All right. So Do I remember what her name is?
I don't. I don't know if you knew her name. Neil, do you have her name written down? Because I honestly don't remember. I have it written.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry.
Hansa.
Let me just.
All right.
Her name is Hansa.
So do I need to do it? Do you want me to do a memory roll or something?
No. Actually, yeah. We'll do an intelligence check, but honestly, it's gonna be a DC 7. It's gonna be pretty low.
Okay. Sweet.
Okay, so you easily remember her name as you approach. You probably remember it long before you even got there.
So as I see her kind of standing there with a weapon, I just look to the guards and just kind of like motion for them to stay. And I slowly approach and I just say, what was it again? Hansa?
Hansa.
Something?
Hansa. Hansa.
Okay. I just feel like, Hansa.
She nods to you but doesn't say anything.
I don't believe we've met, but you did meet two of my friends, Rayron and Valoran. One's a Perrin and the other's human.
She looks at you, kind of like analyzing the situation, and says, "What do you mean by friends?"
We rule Kavir.
She throws the sword back into the bucket where she had pulled it from, and then starts walking towards you.
Okay, I let her approach.
Okay. As she approaches, she will extend her hands to shake yours. Obviously, there's a firm grip. And she says, "Nice to see someone finally came calling."
You have my apologies. Things didn't go as planned. I'm glad you got the message to leave Hudgwen.
I did. I came. I've waited. It's been time. Without my workshop, likely ransacked, likely had everything of mine stolen.
Well, I don't know exactly your dealings with Rayron and Valoran, but we've started a kingdom, not too far from here.
That's a liberal use of the word.
Yes, well, hopefully it stays that way. We seem to have some competition in the area here. To be honest, I don't know why Rayron and Valoran hadn't gotten word to you earlier. But as you said, your workshop has probably been ransacked by now. Would you care to make the trip back with me when I return and meet with Rayron and Valoran, and perhaps we may compensate you and get you set up, if you are willing, in a new in our lands. I understand you had some agreement with them. I don't know all the details, but
I did. I have an agreement with them before, of course, I was forgotten for a considerable amount of time. And I do have interest because of conversations that we've had. I do have interest in working in the future. I don't like being crossed. I'll travel
you
with
would
you.
Definitely.
She stops immediately.
We mean no offense. After the events in Hogwen, we were actually sent halfway across Idir, and whilst setting up and starting a new land within Idir, I'm sorry that you may have been forgotten to an extent, but it was not intentional, and you have my apologies.
When you say that, her tone immediately softens. And you can see, like, roll me an insight check, actually. Not insight, sorry, sense motive check. You can tell immediately it's literally the words, "You have my apologies." Like the fact that you gave you didn't just give excuses. You actually taking ownership and like openly apologizing, even in front of your subjects, which is something of note. That's not lost on her. And she immediately softens her tone and she says, "Thank you for that. It would be an honor to travel with you to your lands. I don't know how much I'm interested in living a home hidden from the sun underneath a canopy of many trees, but at the very least, it'd be a delight to meet with your companions again and to see if there's any way that we can push forward the idea that we had originally started with."
Thank you. It would be an honor to have you accompany us.
She nods and says, "Is that why you made this entire trip, was to come here?"
No, actually, some things have also arisen that require my attention here. And since you have been here for some time, would you mind if I asked you a couple of questions?
Of course.
Since you came here, have you noticed anything with the population? We've been here a few times, and they seem to be rather slow. Are they still that way?
They've always been that way. At least as far as I've known of the people I've read. They're... slow is a word you could use. Lame. Drab.
Docile.
So there's been no change in their behavior?
Not in the least, no.
Has anyone stepped into a position of power within Reed? Trying to take charge of anything?
Recently there was... This is from what I understand in the past 6 months of conversations, what I've learned. Though, truth be told, I don't exactly get out there and speak much to the people. I tend to keep to myself. From what I've understood, from time and time, people would have a bit of chatter about maybe electing some sort of a mayor or the like to handle situations, kind of adjudicate disputes between this farmer and that shop owner. In the past, it's never really worked out. Recently, they had another such vote amongst the people, if you want to even call it that. And somebody has taken the position again as they have before. They currently hold that position now. It's more of acting as a bit of an adjudicator than it is of, having an actual governmental position.
I see. Where are you staying?
Me?
Yeah.
She thinks for a moment, and then, once again, analyzing the situation. And then she just kind of, softens up. She has to, get past her own guards. About half mile up the river from here, there's a small cave. It's large enough.
Nice. Would you care to accompany us back to the inn and have a couple of drinks with us? I have business to attend to tomorrow.
There's not much of an inn here more than there is a tavern. But yeah.
It's an inn for the right people.
You gotta have the inn. Oh, sorry.
I considered making that joke. I resisted it.
Sorry, I'm a dad,
I made so many of them.
Oh.
It was great. I loved it.
So,
Alright, so, I would just head back to the super cool inn.
Okay, and she looks at her equipment, and you can see she's thinking for a second, might somebody steal my stuff? And then she just decides no, and walks towards the inn with you, as opposed to staying by the riverside. It's not a very long walk anyways, maybe an 8-10 minute walk back there. And when you approached her, I didn't even ask you this beforehand, it certainly would have set the scene differently. Did you approach on horseback or did you approach on foot?
At this stage, we would have been on foot. I'd say the horses would be back at the
the inn.
inn.
Yeah. There's the tavern, whatever, tethered up.
Whatever it is.
So you guys make your way there, and when you guys go back in, it's literally one of those, you've never seen this many people inside the tavern before. You have that one guy that was sent here from you. You have your 5 people that came with you. Yourself, there's 7. Now with her there, that makes 8 people inside the tavern, as well as the 2 locals that are pretty much always here anyways. That is a considerable number of people inside this place. You can literally see the lot of you come walking in like you did beforehand. The bartender just looks now like, because you have that look that I'm going to be settling in a little bit more, has that almost look of panic, like a server that just got flat set like 8 tables in a dining room, like, oh my god, you know what I mean? So starts immediately just trying to take care of all of you but can't keep up. So you're inside there, the bartender kind of scrambling about, slightly spilling things here and there, when you kind of continue with what you were doing.
Yeah, I'd just say to the bartender, I'd say, correct me or not, but you make a really good lamb.
You make a good lamb?
Well, I can't remember what it was, but whatever it is. So
I think it was a mutton. It was an MLT.
Mutton.
Yeah, mutton, lettuce, and tomato with the meat.
Really good mutton.
Yeah. So anyways, you so the he like stops and like it takes like an extra 2 seconds for it to click what you're saying, because he's kind of like sowing the weeds at the moment, and then he's like, oh, well, thanks.
You got any more?
Yeah. I do out back in the yeah, I do. And
Start cooking some up.
yeah, okay, sure. And kind of finishes filling drinks and goes out back and fires up, and he's gonna be gone for an extended period of time because he's gonna be in the kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. What one would do now for the rest of the night? You just jump behind the bar and start serving drinks, and you'd serve Hansa her like drink, and we just drink and just have small talk and stuff like that, and then he would just crash at the inn.
Jake, I would like it, sir, if you rolled for me a diplomacy check, because you are playing the charming figure at the moment.
Can you entertain? Yeah, one can.
Okay.
He's alright.
So he does an okay job, you know what I mean? Like, certainly better than the bartender was. Getting the drinks out. People also have no expectation of their, the chosen of their land. So you go back there, you're having fun, you're just being like the general host. It's funny because literally, as I've told you guys beforehand, when I was younger, I used to party crazy often and throw ridiculous parties, like 50, 60, 70 people at my house all the time. And one of my favorite things to do is in my bedroom. I literally had a whole bar set up in my bedroom. It was a dry bar, I didn't have a sink in there. And I literally would sit behind my bar with all my wines and liquor and everything and would pour drinks for people. I used to love it. Stools literally set there. I used to love like hosting the party from behind the bar. Is literally one of the most fun things that you can do at an event like that, because it keeps the attention kind of like localized. You can impact like the mood of the place. So with your 14 diplomatic roll, it's not necessarily that you yourself are very entertaining. It's you're keeping conversation amongst the people and everything going well. You actually get what's your name, Hansa, to open up a bit to your people, and there to be a bit of a conversation, everything going back and forth. Do me a favor, roll for me and another diplomacy check, sir. This one is a much higher DC. Well, I guess that does it. Jeez, a much higher DC. Doubles his previous roll. Jesus. All right, so anyways, with your result of a 28, like I said, you were able to kind of impact the mood of the room, but most importantly, you're really able to you find out like the drink, like just by watching the expression that Hansa really enjoys, and you find out like the conversations, you kind of get her talking, and you get like her talking to the person that you had in the room beforehand, and the two of them start just like discussing local affairs, but they're discussing them in front of you. So it's not necessarily what you're saying, it's kind of like what conversations you make happen in front of you. Diplomacy is also how you gather information in this game, and so you literally start listening to the conversations they're having. So what you do what you do end up learning is that the local mayor happens to be a woman, if you want to write this down.
Yep.
By the name of Tali. Her family has been in Rid for countless generations. She's a human, of course. She happens to be the landowner of the second largest farm in the area. Again, when I say farms, don't think of this as like dedicated farmlands for the sake of production of crop for necessarily a kingdom, but definitely like farms for the smaller scale. But she's the second largest farm in the area. Bet countless generations her family has been here. Overall, she's a nice, like a decent person that seems to have everybody else's interests in mind and just wants to make things happen amicably amongst the people. You're able to learn all that, but you're also able to learn is that the conversation between the two of them about the three people that had been seen coming through with like their armor, weapons, and whatnot. She knew two of them. They'd come to her shops beforehand. They are, in fact, locals that live in Hod Gwen, and she can specifically identify at least one of them as being somebody that worked for the Bankers Guild in the town. So you can definitely identify that those three people that had come through the area beforehand were from Hod Gwen.
Okay. Interesting information.
All right.
So who identified them? Was it Hansa or
Hansa was when they identified them, but she never brought up the
Okay.
information beforehand because it didn't seem pertinent at the time. She didn't know that Hogwood had been expanding. It was the conversation between the two of them that brought up this information.
Okay, sweet.
There you go.
Oh, interesting. Did they go and talk to the mayor?
They did not speak to the mayor. They were just giving information of what they had. You just like procured what they were talking about with the mayor in front of you.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Alright, sweet.
Awesome. Now imagine your character wants to rest for the night and then maybe approach other situations in the morning. But before we approach those situations in the morning, why don't we take a quick break? We'll come back in just about 5 minutes time or so, and we will see what's going on. All right, so everybody, will see you very shortly. Talk to you in a moment. Bye.